Hey, welcome back, Doug Pagitt Radio on AM 950. It's 10 minutes to 12, 10 minutes to high noon on this fabulous day here in the Twin Cities, and broadcasting around the world and maybe even in the space station. So those guys are out on a little spacewalk today, so they're probably not listening to the show up there on the space station. But I know that somebody in the Atlanta area is listening because her name is Kimberly Knight, and she's my friend, and she is going to be the subject of our Right On for today. Kimberly, thanks for calling in and being on Doug Pagitt Radio.
Thank you, Doug, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's a thrill. So Kimberly's interesting in a couple of ways. One, she pastors a church called Koinonia, but it's not your typical church. It actually exists on Second Life, if you know that social networking world of Second Life, that very fantastic software technology that happens over there. But she's on here today because she also works for an organization called the Beatitudes Society. And the Beatitudes Society is one of the organizations in the world that does things that are right, that are good, that we like to throw out our right on. You know, every week we end the first hour with a Cripes Come On, and you got to be kidding me, reminding ourselves that not everything in the world is the way that we want it, and that we have choices to make in the world. Do we want to live with those things that aren't the way we want them, or do we want to do something about it and create a world that's right? Create a world that is right on. And I think Kimberly's doing that over there. So I asked her if she'd call in today, and she was so good to do it. She's even willing to do it while driving home from her vacation. Is that right?
I am in the passenger seat, though. I do not have my hands on the wheel.
Well, excellent. And where were you on vacation?
We were camping in Hiawassee, Georgia.
Is that a fabulously camping place? I mean, is that just terrific?
Wonderful.
People brag about it?
Absolutely. It's just chilly at night, but a beautiful day to be out and hiking, and great nights for campfires. It's beautiful.
Oh, fantastic. Well, tell us about the Beatitudes Society. Some people might not know what it is, and they might not even know that the phrase comes from one of the sermon sets of Jesus in the New Testament that's often referred to as the Beatitudes, or the blessed are those, or blessed be the peacemakers, blessed be the poor, blessed be the righteous. This kind of thing out of Jesus' sermon, and that's a little caught up in a little catchphrase called the Beatitudes. And so tell us about the Beatitudes Society.
I'll do that. This is an organization that works to support and sustain progressive Christian seminarians and clergy around the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
We are helping them connect with values that will help them advocate for justice, compassion, and peace.
Mm-hmm.
Really reclaim a Christianity that welcomes all people, especially those who find themselves at the margins. And articulate a Christianity that speaks and acts for our fragile planet and most vulnerable citizens. And
yeah.
We do that in a number of ways. We have a lot of great projects. We have chapters at 20 seminaries around the U.S. We have paid summer fellowships in cities around the U.S. And we have a prophetic preaching workshop and an online hub where folks can find resources on a myriad of issues when they're ready to preach or teach or move into action on things.
Well, that's fantastic. So if people, if they're hearing this for the first time, they're like, I've never heard that there's a network like that wants to encourage and resource people who are trying to think of a hope-filled, open-armed, alive and well Christianity in the world. And they go to that website. Are there projects and resources, and people hear grants and that kind of thing, and they start thinking money, but there's more than that over there, right? Are there some things that people can be involved in?
Absolutely. We really want to resource faith leaders when they are, say, looking through a scripture and they hear the call on the text and they know where they want to go with it, but they may not have a lot of background information, say, on human trafficking. Maybe that's what they're hearing the text say. And they go to this website, beatitudessociety.org, and they can find background information on human trafficking, perhaps from Not for Sale.
Mm-hmm.
They can find resources that we have put together from them, finding them all over the web, on how to put together a sermon. What are other scriptures that may speak to this issue? How are other preachers and teachers talking about this issue? And then there may be a couple of links on places where they can point congregations to move into action. There may be the Not for Sale tour coming through their city, or there may be local like Street Grace here in the city of Atlanta is a project that is working to stop human trafficking right here in the city. And so we try to connect the faith leaders with those resources so they can then, in turn, connect their congregation with those resources.
Oh, that's fantastic. And there's some projects that are coming up, too, right? Some nationwide projects that people could find out about and be a part of?
Absolutely. What we are doing right now is we have our prophetic preaching workshop that is going on, and this goes on every single year, where we pull together seminarians and clergy, and it is a weekend-long retreat of listening each other into speaking. It is an interactive way of really calling forth the text and doing that speech which empowers people to move into action. Over the summer, we have fellows who will be in 4 cities, Chicago, D.C., the San Francisco area, and Atlanta, where they will be working in social change organizations like Interfaith Power and Light, Bread for the World, Interfaith Workers Justice, and the Emmaus House. And these students, it's like a CPE program for social justice. They come together every week and reflect on what they're doing in the field. They touch social change policy. They are also working in direct service. So it is a comprehensive program built like CPE, but really meant to be more of a change the world adventure.
And I'm sure that there's many people listening, folks who are involved in churches and clergy and others who are saying to themselves, I had no idea that this kind of thing existed for thoughtful people. How come folks wouldn't know about this if they hadn't heard of the Beatitudes Society yet?
It's a small and growing organization. We've been around since 2005. And it's been working primarily at the seminary level, but now we are expanded, and we are working with professionals in multiple cities. We have professional network chapters, one in D.C., one in Atlanta, and one that is emerging in the Princeton-Trenton area. And the online hub is growing. I think that the first few years it was really establishing ourselves with the seminaries and with faith leaders around the country, and now it's growing exponentially.
So if people go to the website, the Beatitudes Society website, beatitudesociety.org, and they see that there's not something happening in their area, is there encouragement there for them to start some kind of a cohort or a network or to find other folks in their area who are interested in the same kind of thoughts?
That's why I love you so much. Of course there is. We want to resource folks to start these meetups, cohorts, chapters in their own cities. And we are there to help them do that. I fly to cities where they need the help to get started. We have the online resources to help them get started. There are small seed grants to get these groups going. And we give you the tools to get it up and running and then say, have at it. Create a monthly meetup. Meet the folks online. We're getting ready to partner with Progressive Christians Uniting. They have a fabulous program called the Conscientious Projector Roadshow. And we're going to have our seminarians watching these same films that they watch in California, but watch them all over the country, and then meet up in cyberspace. We have a custom social network for the members of the society, and then they can have discussions around a common experience with people all over the country. That's
fantastic. That's Kimberly Knight, beatitudesociety.org. You should head over there. And as we try to end each show with a right on, may your faith bring us faith, your hope bring us hope, and your love bring us love to the good people over Beatitude Society. Thanks, Kimberly, for being on Doug Pagitt Radio on AM 950, Voice of Minnesota.